When the UK's 2,000-ton patrol ship HMS Spey had just swaggered through the Taiwan Strait, China delivered a quick punch at the UN. In less than 24 hours, at the UN Special Committee on Decolonization, the Chinese representative firmly and resolutely supported Argentina's sovereignty claim over the Malvinas Islands. As soon as these words were spoken, many countries in the meeting hall nodded in agreement. After all, everyone could see this was a brilliant move to fight back with the opponent's own tactics. This incident dates back to June 18, when this outdated British patrol ship swaggered into the Taiwan Strait, thinking it could follow the U.S. to seek attention. But it never expected that China had already kept a close eye on it. Britain's act of provocation is actually nothing new. Since Brexit, this former empire on which the sun never sets has increasingly faded from the international spotlight. Watching France and Germany thrive in the EU, it has grown anxious. It can only cling to the U.S. to seek attention. In 2018, it sent old warships to intrude into the South China Sea. In 2021, the aircraft carrier HMS Queen Elizabeth led a fleet to the South China Sea to hype up the so-called arbitration case. Now it has even announced that the HMS Prince of Wales will visit Singapore, but ended up swaggering near China's doorstep in advance. Why does Britain always have its eyes on the South China Sea? In Britain's old account books, places like Sri Lanka and Malaysia were once its colonies, and the South China Sea shipping routes used to be its cash cow. But times have changed, yet it still hasn't woken up from its colonial dream. Looking at the Malvinas Islands, which Argentines call the Malvinas and the British call the Falkland Islands. The islands are only 500 kilometers away from Argentina's mainland, but 13,000 kilometers away from Britain. It takes more than half a month to reach by ship. In 1833, the British expelled the Argentines from the islands and have occupied them for nearly 200 years since then. In 1982, Britain and Argentina fought a major war over the islands, the largest-scale naval and air battle in South American history. Argentina used torpedoes to sink the British destroyer HMS Sheffield. However, with the support of the United States, Britain eventually regained control of the islands. But this war made Britain lose all face, exposing its command errors and backward equipment, turning the last radiance of the empire into an imperial joke. Although Argentina lost the war, it united the whole nation's hearts. In Argentine schools today, children still sing songs about the sovereignty of the Malvinas Islands. Britain today is no longer the global hegemon that could carve up territories at will. Sending a 2,000-ton patrol ship to intrude into the Taiwan Strait is nothing more than a cheap shot at geopolitical provocation, putting on a paper tiger act to maintain appearances. But the whole world can see clearly when China voices support for Argentina's sovereignty over the Malvinas at the UN. Britain's old empire on which the sun never sets dream should long have been awakened by the harsh light of reality. After all, distance doesn't lie. The Argentine homeland just 500 kilometers away is no place for an old empire 13,000 kilometers away to dictate terms.